colors don't run. American redneck, this is my fun. I was born in the woods on Jim Beam's whiskey team.
Hey, everybody, another great weekend we're spending with you. It's Main Street Money here on Cruisin' 92.1 FM, WVLT, coming to you every Saturday from 1 to 2. I'm Joe Yakovich, and with me, as always, is the gracious and gorgeous Tracy Kelly.
Oh, thanks, Joe. Hi, everyone.
We got a packed agenda today, Tracy. A lot of things are happening. I know that we got a lot of things on our minds, especially next week. We're going to be doing the show live in Pittman Italian Eatery on the 23rd, starting at 10 o'clock. So let's hope all of you that are listening will come out and see us and talk to us and hang out with us for a couple hours.
Yeah, it's all part of Project Thanksgiving. You can go on Facebook and like them at Project Thanksgiving. In Cumberland County, they're linked up with the Salvation Army. Woo! In Gloucester County, it's the South Jersey Food Bank. Ron Zold at the Venice Italian Eatery provided over 1,600 meals last year to feed people in that area. So we're always supportive of that. So tune in, or if you feel like taking a little field trip next week, come see us November 23rd at the Pittman Italian Eatery on 68 South Broadway in Pittman.
You got it. I look forward to seeing everyone out there. Listen,
can I give a quick shout out?
You got it. Throw it down.
The music that you heard bring us in, and we're going to flow it through the rest of the hour, is, I think, sung here by Ryan Fiske and written by a friend of ours, friend of the show, Sean Murphy. So if you like it, give us a call, or we'll tell you how to get in touch with them. You
Mr.
can call
Murphy,
us.
I want to see more stuff. I like it. I like it so far.
I'm digging it. I like it. I just heard it. I'm ready to see these guys in concert. Everybody that's seen them so far, they've been performing locally throughout New Jersey. They've really had good things to say about them. So if you need to get in touch with them to find out how you can get yourself a copy, you can always call us, 856-751-1771, or www.jmlfinancialgroup.com.
You know what? I want to start off the show a little different because, you know what? I don't know what's happening to all of us, but too often people have no clear idea on what's important to them. I know what they've been going through, and I've been hearing this, and it's really aggravating for me. Obamacare crisis, another healthcare government disappointment. You know, I don't know what to say and do here because, you know, what I'm hearing from people trying to get health care, they're having it's been a mess. It's been so frustrating. They can't get on. They're dropping it. Mm-hmm. They say one thing, they do another, and we're in the midst of this. So, folks, believe me when I tell you this. We're doing everything in our power to give you the right information as quickly as we receive it. But as we get it, it changes. It's sad.
I think it's beyond frustrating, and it's embarrassing. The low enrollments, I think they had 106,000 or something like that. The heavily anticipated figures that they thought were going to sign up, it's a long way from the 7 million people that, you know, the Congressional Budget Office projected would gain coverage through the exchanges. And I think they expected another 9 million to enroll in Medicaid or the CHIP programs, and 106,000.
Don't make sense. The numbers don't add up. And as you add more people into the mix, it doesn't make the cost go down. It makes it go up for everyone. So expect, as I said, and I've been saying this for I don't know how long, expect a 10 to 15% increase on premiums that you're paying. And that's one of the things we talk about to our business owners, especially about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, and there's some backpedaling going on. Obama came out this week saying, okay, you know, you can keep your insurance for another year if you've been canceled, which puts insurance companies on the limb there, because now they're going, okay, we're backpedaling now. What are we supposed to do now? We're supposed to rescind all those cancellations and completely replan. You know, they're at the mercy of whatever regulation is passed next. And quite honestly, it's just as bad for the people who have insurance because, like you said, Joe, costs are going up. It's just not affordable. And I did take a little bit of a look into some of the subsidies that they're giving, and I still don't know if it's affordable.
Well, you know, if they don't sign up, it's 1% of their income.
Right, $95 or 1%, whatever's
1%.
greater.
So it's going to cost us if you do not sign up. And if you do sign up,
It's going to cost.
If hope and pray you get the right stuff for yourself. That's the biggest. Cross our fingers and
Yeah, it's just
you know.
it's become such an expense, and it's very difficult. And
Thought it was going to be easy, right?
I fear that people are not going to get the health care that they need because it's just way too expensive.
And all of you know this, and I'm gonna give a shout out how I'm going to say it, because many people live in a state of worry, continuously focus on and dwelling on, on the worst possible scenarios. They believe it will get them to do something or to take action, but the truth is, folks, it is extremely unresourceful emotional state. We get so tied up on thinking the worst that can happen. And we shouldn't. We tend to look at these things and really overwhelm ourselves with frustration and fear. We need to look at it differently. You got to be positive about this stuff, even with the healthcare issues we're dealing with today. Believe me, we'll get through this, and I assure you we'll have the answers to all your questions, especially when it comes to healthcare, because it is an issue everyone is concerned with, and no one knows what the cost is going to incur to any of us, not only the business owner themselves, but the individuals that sign up. Because now we see, and you're seeing it right now, Tracy, is that, they're doing, the business owners are doing special things to cut back the hours.
I don't know how special those things are considered.
I mean, think about it. You can't have 30 hours a week, and you're not eligible for health care. So
27
they're trying
hours
all kinds of neat stuff to get around what they're would like not to do, but they're doing.
Being positive with these adjectives, special and neat. I don't know how neat it is, but the way to be positive. That you try to be positive, and it's good to be positive. I have one piece of positive information. Apparently, there's increased automobile fuel efficiency, helping to reduce the reliance on foreign oil. So, for the first time in 2 decades, the United States produced more oil at home than it imported from abroad. So our president called the shift a huge, quote, huge competitive advantage for the United States. So maybe, and I hope this isn't spin or,
oil companies,
beautiful statistics used to market, but I hope that maybe there will be a trend of less dependency on foreign oil. Wouldn't that be nice?
Well, you know what? Don't sweat the small stuff. That's what I say. Don't sweat
This is not small stuff. Our dependency on foreign oil is huge.
Listen, compared to the bigger scheme of things, don't sweat the small stuff. And think about it. Most people will spend all their time, and I'll say for this conversation, 90% of the time on the problem. We need to start to reverse that, spend more time on the solution. And I think that we'll come up with the perfect plan, not only to for all of you to understand what we're doing in terms of healthcare, but how to save money, where to spend it, where to save it, how to do it the right way. Give you a clear-cut view. And I say this all the time. We pull the curtain back, so to speak, so you can see exactly how things work. We had a client today came in, and we just want to make sure you understand the things you own and how you own them. And that's a big decision that you need to make, and sit down with somebody that understands that. So today we're going to be talking about some of those issues that get in our way, and the decision-making process on how to do things. I mean, think about it. People are not saving enough money, and where they are saving, they're just picking 1 or 2 products and saying, oh, this is going to work for me. That does not work today.
Well, and speaking of understanding things you own or you should own, we are in the midst and closing down on the deadline of Medicare's annual open enrollment period. And that's
another overwhelming
very
subject.
Overwhelming too. Not only the seniors who are on Medicare, a lot of people who are on Social Security disability who are on Medicare, and a lot of, unfortunately, adult children who are trying to decipher all this information for their parents. So you do have until December 7th in annual open enrollment if you want to make additions to or changes to your Part D prescription drug coverage or your Part C Medicare Advantage coverage. There are some changes. So for some of us in this area, what you had in 2013 is no longer available in 2014. So don't make the mistake of burying your head in the sand and not doing anything, because after December 7th, for the most part, you won't be able to make changes. So you won't be happy on January 1st. So we would be happy to review those things with you. You could call us at 856-751-1771, or you can always get us on the website, www.jmlfinancialgroup.com.
Also, coming up December the 12th, at our office, food, Santa Claus, and all the drinks in terms of our coffee. Next to us, our good friend Dunkin' Donuts will be supplying Toys for Tots at our building on 1864 Route 70 East in Cherry Hill. If you get a chance to stop by and say hello to Santa, from 8 to 12, we'll be out there collecting toys for the people that I think we're collecting this year, a lot of toys for the kids at Chop Hospital.
Mm-hmm. And also the Camden Rescue Mission.
And Camden Rescue Mission, absolutely.
Speaking of Santa's little helper, the United States Postal Service.
Yes, I read that article. Tell me about that.
They're not, we all know that our mailmen aren't doing that great as far as the post office. They're losing revenue.
Right.
But they are aggressively chasing the packaging business to boost profits this holiday season. Yeah.
Well, think about it, Trey. We give, when we do packaging, it's UPS, and we spend X dollars. But
Sure.
the Postal Service is, really, it's going against them because they're not in that market. And I think they need to start, see what's happening. They need to increase the revenue from what they're doing. I mean, you see what's happening, the pension plans and all the things that's happening all over the place and with the Postal Service.
They're trying to
dealing with
become a little more competitive and really getting into that package market. So just this week it announced they're going to be delivering packages on Sundays for Amazon in New York and LA for the holiday season. And in a direct challenge to rivals, you mentioned it, to FedEx and I guess a couple of the other big ones. What's the other one? UPS.
UPS.
Yep. For a $5 fee, they'll start offering early delivery by 10:30 a.m. So they saw an 8% growth in package delivery in 2013.
I don't know if the Sunday thing works for me. I don't know. I don't even want to see packages on Sunday. I don't know about you. I
want to see packages on Sunday.
You do?
Yeah. I mean, I like getting stuff delivered. On Sundays.
Please, come on now. She wants to get stuff on Sundays now. I don't get it.
When we ladies order our shoes, we want them the next day.
Again.
So thank you to the United States Postal Service. I bleed red, white, and blue.
You do. And don't forget, everybody, again, 12/12. Be there from 8 to 12. We're going to do our Toys for Tots. We're going to take a quick break here, but stick around. We'll have some great stuff coming back to you. You won't want to miss it. It's Main Street Money on Cruising 92.1 WVLT.
Redneck American dream. Yeah!
Listen to me.
I heard you, Joe.
I mean the listening audience, Tracy.
Okay, when?
Every Saturday at 1 o'clock, we get real about money and we have fun.
That's right. We'll simplify all the issues when it comes to your money and give you some tips on how to make it, protect it, and keep it.
But they have to listen.
Okay, you can only ask nicely.
All right. That's Main Street Money with Joe Yakovich and Tracy Kelly, Saturday at 1 p.m. on Cruisin' 92.1 WVLT.
American proud, these colors on his colors. American redneck, this is my fun. I was born in the woods, Jim Beam's whiskey team. I'm living the redneck American dream. Living the redneck American dream. I'm living the redneck American dream.
And we are back. It's Main Street Money here on Cruisin' 92.1 FM WVLT. We're here with you every Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. I'm Tracy Kelly. This is Joe Yakovich with me. And we bring you the truth about money as it all develops. And you're seeing with the Obamacare, it changes every day. I do want to remind everyone, if you weren't with us for the first couple of minutes, next Saturday, November 23rd, we will be broadcasting live from the Pittman Italian Eatery restaurant on South Broadway in Pittman in support of Project Thanksgiving. Like them on Thanksbook. I'm all about it. Facebook. And we'll be there next week. So if you normally listen to us, come out, put a face with the name. We would love, love, love to see you there.
Yep.
Right, Joe?
You
giving
got
away
it.
free turkeys?
We will be there in full-blown view.
You giving
I can't
everyone
wait.
free
I'm going to have
stuff?
my Pimp Daddy outfit on. I'm ready to go.
What does that mean?
The first day, well, nobody knows I'm going to be wearing.
I heard
it.
you yesterday talk about a velour jumpsuit.
My old school velour. Some of you out there are probably saying to yourself, I used to own a velour.
What color is it?
Dark navy blue, dark. It's nice, though. I'm telling you, it is the most comfortable.
Yeah, well, I do believe that.
Very comfortable.
I
very
have a few.
I wanted to talk about a couple things today, but I wanted to touch on something that probably most of you know. But the S&P 500 is up 162% since it bottomed out in March of 2009. 162%. Now, how many of us that had any position in any of that index, the S&P, because we always say, I got out of the market at the wrong time, I got in at the wrong time. 162% the S&P is up. Now think about it, folks. The market has been doing extremely well. But remember, what goes up will come down. So plan for a pullback in the market. All pullbacks are buying opportunities. I said this to you all before. When something's on sale, it's time to buy it. I know for a fact if I told Tracy right now there's a big sale with Nordstrom's, you better believe that she would be off this stage and running to Nordstrom. So you have to look at the buying opportunities when the market takes these dips. Think about that. There's going to be a pullback. Something else you need to understand. A lot of things are happening in the corporate bond world. Corporations. They purchased a lot of the corporate bonds, and the burden has been pushed to 2016, which means that you're going to see a lot of great growth over the next couple of years and a change on how corporations start to pay out the bondholders. So be aware of that, and we'll keep you informed of how this stuff plans out for your IRAs, from your SEP IRAs, from your 401ks, from your mutual funds. Whatever you own, it will affect what you own in terms of equity. If you want to gamble, our theory is real simple. Go to Vegas. This is not a gambling show. If you're going to gamble with your retirement money, go to Vegas. This is not what we want to talk to people about. It's a prudent way to invest. Another thing we talk about all the time, and we're both big believers of, own equity, own stocks. You need to own something in your portfolio that makes something, own equities. Another thing we big believers of, diversify your stocks, diversify. I know it's this boring subject, Tracy, but it's something that people need to understand to be prudent and to make money. It doesn't take, like I say, a rocket scientist to tell you what to do. This is simple conversations we're having with all our clients. Rebalance. Don't put all your eggs in one basket and realize, okay, it's so far out of whack, I'm going to keep it there. You get it. Diversify. Put your money in different types of things and rebalance. When things go out of whack, you move them back into another portfolio. Get rid of the active managers, the trading cost that you're paying for that you don't see. And sometimes the people in our business seem to neglect to inform you of. So find out cost. And these are the questions you should start to be asking your planner or people like us. What do I have? How do I build it? How do I rebalance? Am I diversified? What is it costing me for turnover? These are some of the questions you need to ask and you'll want to ask all the people you're working with. So be aware of that.
Wow, that was quite a mouthful, Joe.
Well, 162%, Tracy. How many people think and even knew they were in the market and stayed in the market because the market went down? They probably jumped out.
Sure. And let's put this in layman's terms. So you mentioned the sale at Nordstrom's.
Yes.
So I take
Yes.
I budget how much I'm going to invest in at Nordstrom's, and I go there. Now, just because they have a great sale on shoes, and I love shoes, I shouldn't buy only shoes because that would make for a very strange outfit. So I've got to buy socks, I've got to buy clothes, I've got to buy accessories. I need to diversify, right?
Let me tell you something. And you, talking about shoes.
As much as I love them, I can't only invest in shoes. So we talk about diversification. Think of it that way. You've got to go through the store. Now, Do I only look in Nordstrom's? That would be foolish because how do I know that Macy's doesn't have something? So I need to be a little bit more energetic that day, but I'm going to go to Macy's and I'm going to look around there. I'm diversifying. And then every season I have to take a look, do inventory of my closet, and rebalance. Does it mean that I go back and return everything?
That's detail. Talking about
That's
detail.
not going to happen.
That's called detail shopping.
This is called putting it in layman's terms.
Let me circle back some things we want to cover, at least in this portion of the show, Tracy. We talked about revisiting the 4% rule and the trouble with sticking with fixed withdrawals, that you could basically outlive all your money. And either that or you live, obviously, way not only farther, but like you talked about all the time, or farther in the future, but also the fact that healthcare could jeopardize your portfolio. And we're talking about revisiting a 4% withdrawal amount from your portfolio.
Well, why don't we kind of go into a little bit of detail about what that
let's
is
do
so
it.
that people really get an idea for what we're talking about. You know,
When
you talk about the
when I say
4%
4%,
rule.
most people put a good chunk of their money into a bucket, we'll call it, for the sake of this conversation. And what they do is they withdraw 4% out of that money each and every year for their own retirement. Make sense?
Also known as maybe taking out just the interest, maybe.
Well, exactly. Or in that case, let's suppose the market does not do well that year and they still continue to take 4% out. It will dramatically affect your portfolio. Dramatically. Where it could be where you will run out of money if you had any plans on having it around for the next 20, 25 years. So you need to start looking at those type of asset classes or strategies, because it really depends on how much you're taking out.
Sure.
But you also have to take something in consideration that no one, I think in our case, because we do it, thinks about. There's also these other factors that creep in. Inflation. You mentioned healthcare, taxes, volatility. I mean, you've seen in the last, month, the market is ADHD. It is all over the place. Think about it. It's the volatility is so overwhelming. There are people making money inside, in and out of the market. But long-term, folks, this is not a good plan for you to try to jump in and jump out of the market, because you never know when it's going to go up and you never know when it's going to go down. So be prudent. But going back to the 4% rule, it's a way to withdraw dollars out of your portfolio that you hope it doesn't run out. And you need to understand the portfolio itself, or how you invest the money prudently. You have to have some in fixed. You have to have some in equity or stocks. You have some in cash purposely so you can withdraw that. And one other thing you need to be aware of, big time, and believe when I say this to you, you need to have something we have very liquid, at least 6 to 9 months of living expenses you should have tucked away, or God forbid, if something happened, you have access to that money immediately, not, let me take it from the stock portfolio, even though it's down, I'm going to lose money. You can't do that.
Right.
You got to be disciplined. And if you do that, guess what, folks? This is not doomsday. This is a real easy strategy to follow.
Well, sure, if you follow it, if you follow the rules. And when we meet with clients, we're very clear about a few things that, dealing with your money is somewhat of like a chess game. And just like chess, there are rules to the game. And if you adhere to the rules, you should have a very successful game, whether that's accumulating in cash flow or retirement. But if you start getting crazy and you break the rules, then who knows what could happen. Yeah, sure, stress, emotion, sometimes just life, sometimes really bad advice that gets, and it kills me when you talk about, well, my neighbor said, da, da, da. Does your neighbor spend 24/7,
right,
looking at this stuff, doing this stuff? This is our full-time job. It's our career. And not to say that we don't answer questions, that we won't say, yeah, tell me what your neighbor said. I would love to hear it, because you never know. And he may be right. He may be saying the exact same thing we're saying. But we see so many people that say, you know what, so-and-so told me to do this or this, and ask questions.
Ask questions. You mean to ask questions. Please ask a question, Tracy. And one question I want people to ask me. Joe Yakovich, will I have enough and will it take me through my full life expectancy? That question I get weekly. And that's a question it's hard to answer because I asked, or my rebuttal would be, it depends. It
That's a
depends on a
great
couple
answer.
things. I'll tell you what it depends on, Tracy. It depends on who is responsible for you or you're responsible for someone else. Happens all the time. You have children moving back in.
Sure.
You also have, by the way, you might be moving into your children's place. It depends on the situation. Health changes
some
on a
kind of a
dime.
home.
Changes every day. So you need to be flexible. You need to be adaptable. You just can't do one thing and expect it to continue to work for 25 or 30 years. It doesn't work that way, folks. And a lot of times when I see plans, I look at them, I go, who put this together for you? And they said, well, it's so-and-so from so-and-so. I said, well, did they take in consideration taxes, inflation, planned obsolescence, technology changes, and healthcare situations? Or no, they never asked those questions of me. Why? I'm just curious. What are we telling our clients is completely different than a lot of people that are telling their clients?
Do you know where you're going?
I
If
know
something
exactly
happens
where
to
I'm
you?
going. I'm going into a couple of areas. Number one.
No, do you know where you're going if something happens to your health? Who's taking care of you, you know?
Well, I'll tell you.
You get
if something
duct
happens
tape,
to me,
duct tape to the
I have
love seat.
long-term care insurance. I have insurance, life insurance. My wills are updated, power of attorneys. Everything is set in a way to maneuver itself through time. And it's tweaks and turns that I make. But the philosophy and the direction that we give our clients, and it's a key element, direction, that they have to understand their boundaries. There's rules to the game. You have to play within those rules. It's not a gamble. This is not a crapshoot, folks. This is an easy strategy to follow. And just because you want to keep up with the Joneses doesn't make it any better or worse, because it doesn't work that way. Still hard work in our country. It's what it's about. And that's what I'm a belief in our belief system. Tracy, you lent something to me today on 16 people on things. You don't want to go through that one?
No, that's for later.
Oh, that's for later.
You
Okay,
don't-
I'll go that later.
Some people don't listen.
Not a problem. My bad.
I think the bottom line people need to realize is that your time horizon in retirement may be and probably is much longer than you realize.
Correct.
You really need to prepare to live a long time and make sure you have enough money to maintain your lifestyle. I know a lot of us, I'll talk to a lot of people that say, well, I want to, retire at 62. Do I have enough money? Well, if you can tell me exactly when you're going to die, then we can
I have
make
the
that
plan for it.
assumption. If you're telling me you got 10 years, we might be working. But I need to know that what if you don't die in 10 years? What if you
Right.
make it to 95, 105?
Well, what happens? The other question we get is, how about Social Security? Should I take it at 62? Should I take it at full retirement at 65 or 66? It depends. It depends on if you're still working. Are you still active? Do you still like what you do? We talk to people all the time, and if your health is good and you don't need the money, wait till 70, and you realize from your full retirement at 66 or 65, whatever your date of birth would be, we recommend to go to 70 purposely because of what we said earlier. Life expectancy has been increased dramatically. And because you go from full retirement at, say, 65 or 66, each year that you postpone that number and you take it to full 70, Social Security, it increases each year by 8%. That's a guaranteed 8% each and every year. Your Social Security will increase. And that will be something you'll be really appreciated to have when you're 70, and that continues to go up with cost of living. So think about what you have going on holistically, the big picture, as we would say all the time. But more importantly, that's something for me to talk to a client and say, are you still, like we met a gentleman today, are you still working? What did he say? Yes, I'm still doing a couple
Right.
part-time, things, and he's a dentist. So it's one of those things, hey, it might be good for you to wait till you're 70 and
Right.
still receive somewhat of a small income. So it depends on the individual. It depends on the health. It depends on so many different variables that we discuss and sit down with the client to find out what makes the most amount of sense.
And be realistic about how much Social Security you will be receiving, because the average Social Security check is somewhere between $1,200 and $1,300 a month per person. So is that truly enough to live on? For a lot of us, it's not. So make sure that you're realistic about that. And also, if you are under 65, make sure that you do go on Social Security's website and check your
Right.
your statements, because they're no longer being mailed out. Speaking of not using the post office,
Right. Talking about the post office, right?
yeah, you're not getting those statements like we used to. So you might just be thinking to yourself, you know what, that's right, I haven't gotten those. And if there is any kind of mistake on your Social Security statement, you have 3 years to correct it. So you don't want to look back and say, oh, shoot, 10 years ago, they missed a zero, and now I'm not getting as much Social Security. So make sure that you do check that out. Get online or get someone to do it for you. Be a big man like Joe and get someone to do it for you,
Yeah,
right?
well, sure. How about
You're
today?
not doing
I
that
came
yourself.
in today and I had. It's so funny.
Oh, for the first time ever, you were opening envelopes and
I
doing
had
paperwork.
someone come
Calm
in
down.
to our office and bring me 2 plastic trash bags full of, from many years of stuff. I had to look through that in detail, but we got through. It was easy. We put everything together for that person, and when they come in next week, they're going to be absolutely in love what we've done for them. And like we do with most people, we put
You
everything.
know what I love?
Pardon me?
There are people out there who, are doing construction, hard back-breaking work, iron work, out on bridges, suspended in midair, fixing whatever they
Just
fix
like
on
you used to
bridges.
do. Just
and
like you used to do.
You open a bunch of envelopes today and have to
cut my
sort
nail- I
through a
cut
few
my
papers, and
finger.
you're
Come
whining
on
like
now.
a little
Come on
child.
now.
My goodness.
There's a girl that
You
can't
think
even
you're
listen,
tough?
There's a girl that can't put a doorknob in, and then now she's.
You can't put a doorknob in. Where did
can't-
that
you
come
can't.
from? I'm
Well,
sure
you-
I can't, but
What do you do physically? Do you do anything that's
I'm an athlete. Oh, what can I do? Change light
Can you
bulbs.
change a light bulb?
If I can reach it. Without shocking myself? Probably not.
I wanted to finish off this part of the show, Tracy, with what I call the 15-minute retirement plan, and basically how to avoid running out of money when you need it the most. And a couple of things, I don't know if you want to start off with the first one on the retirement idea, was how long will your portfolio need to provide you with income?
Sure, it's what I just talked about a couple minutes ago with,
Yeah.
you know what, your time horizon might be longer than you
Right.
realize. So
And some people don't
how long?
think about that. And like we talked about earlier, besides the market doing so well or pullbacks, it's great when when the market's going boomers as it is now, but when it pulls back, are you still taking the same income? So you need to be aware of
Right.
that. The other thing is, how can cash distribution and inflation impact your portfolio?
How?
Well, one thing, think about it, you need to have some cash in a position so if you need
Right.
it
You need to
quickly,
get your hands on it.
illiquid, have it there and do what you have to do. And remember, inflation is one of those things you don't feel it, especially when you're working. But when you retire, it starts to creep up on
Sure.
you very quickly. So
Sure.
be aware of that and factor that into your distribution strategies.
Well, and when you say distribution strategies, there really needs to be a strategy behind it, because you and I can both dump out the same amount of money at the same time. And my strategy of spending it is different than yours, and one of us could end up with a lot more money. So don't just haphazardly go, okay, well, now I'm going to roll this over and start spending. You really need to work with somebody who's good at, not just, doing it, who's good at and understands the distribution.
I like to just add a little piece to that, Tracy. And it's funny you mentioned that in the way you did. It might be I'm thinking about is that number one, the purpose, the real purpose of distribution is to make sure that you have the money going to be fed to you over your lifetime. Now, most people, unfortunately, they take a bucket of money, whatever it may be, in funds and what have you, and they take interest off the money. But our philosophy is a little different on our belief system, and our conviction is big time on this. If you remember, folks, life insurance is not only for protection. It allows you to spend your assets differently. So if you want to leave a legacy, or if you want to spend more money, and if you want to enjoy your wealth while you're still, as Tracy would say, alive and well, then enjoy it. And then whatever you leave, do not leave a bucket of money to your heirs. Leave more of a philosophy of leverage, tax-free, guaranteed dollars, which is life insurance. So if you're going to leave money as an inheritance to a child, to a spouse, to a charity of your choice, the best of all, and I'm saying all philosophies, is to be able to leave life insurance, to be able to spend your wealth, enjoy your wealth, take the most amount of money from your investments, live off of principal and interest to life expectancy, and then whatever you leave behind, leave via life insurance. It is the best philosophy and the best combination of assets and protection that work perfectly together. It's the perfect plan, if you want to call it that.
Well, think about it. When you receive a life insurance death benefit, it's tax-free.
Correct.
When you receive a lot of other assets, most other assets, they are not tax-free unless you've done some type of trust work. So the fact that I don't know what estate taxes are going to be in every subsequent year,
right?
I don't know. Could it be 10%? Could it be 60%? So I'd rather have the peace of mind knowing that my spouse, my children, the charity, whatever it is, whoever it is, they're going to get the most of my money, and it's not going to get held up in probate if there's some kind of problem with the will. You pass away, that check goes right to the beneficiary.
Correct.
Within a couple of days. It's
Liability
really
proof.
the
There's
best
so
way
many
to do it.
Right. There's so many different caveats to the life insurance. And we talk about that purposely because, folks, it is the most leveraged vehicle. When I say leveraged, let me just back up a little bit. Whatever dollar you put in to the life insurance company, a lot of times the death benefit will be 5 to 10 times greater.
Right.
But it also, if you look in the bigger scheme of things, it also allows the person to spend their other monies differently. So be aware of that. Another thing I want to bring up for our listeners is that how do you establish a investment objective? I mean, you really need to sit down with someone to really find out what is not only important to that individual, but what type of investment objective and what risks they're willing to take on their portfolio or what they're doing in terms of equity portfolio, stocks, what we talked about, or even things we're having in fixed portfolio. You saw that in one of the portfolios we saw. It started out, remember the bonds? They had 6% bonds, and as they continue to buy them, now they're at 1% bonds.
But let's be clear about what an investment objective is, because for a lot of people, maybe you're thinking, well, my objective is not to lose this money. My objective is to make money. Duh, what's my objective? But it really should be a little bit more clear than that, not just I want to make money off of this investment. It should be, when do I plan to use this investment? Can I stomach a 30% loss in this investment? Do I need to withdraw it? Is it liquid? You really need to assess all of these things. It's like saying, I want to lose weight. Well, that's your objective, but you better get a little bit more clear with that, or else it's probably not going to happen.
Correct. Good point. And one of the last things we talk about is how important trade-off you may need to make in terms of if you need more money, or if you need a lump sum, or if you want to help one of your children, for this conversation, how important is that to you? And that's a clear understanding when you sit down with someone. If it's us, if it's the people you're working with, you need to be asking those type of questions, not just say, okay, don't worry about it. I'm not going to worry about it. You take care of everything and let it roll. That's not the idea on how you want to continuously to live in your retirement years comfortably.
But Joe, what if people don't know the right questions to ask? I mean, where do you get that information? Because, we always talk about ask the right questions, and I'm a big advocate of ask questions in general, but sometimes you just may not know what the right question to ask is. So I think that leaves a lot of people going, well, what should I be asking? So I think it's important that maybe we do repeat some of these questions that you should be asking your advisors, or that you should be, asking yourself. And definitely one of those is, when do I need to take this money, and how long do I actually expect to be taking the money? I think those are important questions. The other question is, what fees are incorporated in the accounts that I have? And don't think just, commission fees or advisor fees. Ask your advisor what other fees are in there. And if they tell you, or if you think it's none, you are most likely not correct.
No, you're absolutely very accurate on that, Tracy. And one thing, we are very proactive in what we do to service our clients correctly. To meet those people, we're big believers of keeping you up to date with your portfolios. We, monthly, we put things in the mail, email, or hard copy to all of you, not only the information, but some of the questions that people need to start to ask us. We encourage people to ask us questions all the time. You should be asking us these questions that we put in front of them, and they go, oh, I understand. So we give them a clear understanding on how and what and why we do the way we do what we do with our portfolios and our estate planning and insurance and the things that people are very interested in.
Well, it's important to be able to ask the questions that are on your mind, and I say it to clients as they're leaving. I've heard you say it, Joe. If anything comes up, because it will, it's like when you leave your doctor and you're in the car, or, the next day you wake up and you're having breakfast and you're like, I wanted to ask her such and such, and you forgot. We realize that happens, and we have the relationship with our clients that if you forget something gets triggered in your mind, email us, call us. You should have that relationship with the person that handles your money to be able to get all of your questions answered.
One thing that we do, we take a very disciplined approach to your investment strategies. Go beyond just by stock picking. And we take full advantage of global investing, which is something that most people just talk about, but we really experience investing in dramatically, not only in domestic, but overseas portfolios. And you don't want to limit your style and just to growth or value. You need to shift your strategies based on forward thinking or forward looking view of the market itself. And one of the things that we do, which is I'm so proud of, that and what makes us and swims away from the competition, is the transparency, the fees that allow us to really showcase the fees that we charge versus someone else is charging. Because when we look at portfolios, a lot of times I see a lot of fees built in that some of the clients that I talk to have no idea where those fees came from until I show them clearly on why they're being charged these numbers. So for us, if we can eliminate some of those fees, we just plow the interest rates or whatever they're not going to have to pay back into their portfolios.
Well, as far as fees are concerned, there's a couple of factors going on there. Number one, a lot of those fees may be disclosed in the prospectus, but let's be real with ourselves.
Who reads
exactly?
the
Who
prospectus?
reads the number 8 font on the prospectus? And the second thing is, does your advisor tell you? Look, they may not. Does it make them bad? Not necessarily, but they may not tell you. They're not required to tell you
No.
all of them. They may not know themselves. So if I've heard so many people go, well, my 403B, my 401k, whatever, there's no fees in that. Yes, there are. Just
Yes,
because
they
they're
are.
not coming knocking on your door with a bill doesn't mean that they're not taking money out of the investment.
If you still have any questions and you're not sure what's best for you and you need help getting started, or at least helping you plan, helping you with the thousands of dollars that you're investing in, give us a call at 856-751-1771 to find out how we can help you achieve the more comfortable retirement you've been looking for and saving for. Or give us a shout out even through the internet at www.jml Financial Group. And we'll be more than happy to get back with you to either give you our small book that we put together, the 15-minute retirement plan, or let you know, have you come in and speak with us and sit down with us and find out what we do and why we're somewhat different, quite a bit different, on most of the planners that are doing what they say they're not doing out there.
Yeah, and don't forget next weekend, Saturday the 23rd, we will be giving thanks and supporting Project Thanksgiving at the Pittman Italian Eatery Restaurant, 68 South Broadway in Pittman. We'll be broadcasting live, and we would love to see you all out there. We would love to see some of you out there. Put a little face with a name. Please join us. I know last year they provided over 1,600 meals.
Is that unbelievable?
To feel
That's
it's
big
you know what,
numbers.
it's amazing that I just feel like it's just an atrocity that in this country we live in that there are people that are still hungry.
It's amazing to me. And I'm going to be doing something. I hope you're going to be joining me on Thanksgiving Day in the morning, I'm hoping. We're going to be handing out turkeys in Burlington County, I know. And I know that we did it a couple of years ago in Camden County. And that was a kind of, I would think it was a lot of fun and humbling.
Sure.
In Cherry Hill, we gave a lot of turkeys out. We gave a couple hundred out,
Yeah.
not only turkeys, but the whole things
Well,
that went along with it.
It's
the
important
fixtures and all.
to give thanks, especially for so many of us who all we think about is trying not to eat food, that there actually still are people that are hungry
Yeah,
in this
yeah,
country in our
big time.
backyards. And I know that we are going to be back after the break, so I hope that you'll stick with us. We are going to close up this Saturday pretty soon. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with Main Street Money.
The redneck American dream. Yeah!
Listen to me.
I heard you, Joe.
I mean the listening audience, Tracy.
Okay, when?
Every Saturday at 1 o'clock, we get real about money and we have fun.
That's right. We'll simplify all the issues when it comes to your money and give you some tips on how to make it, protect it, and keep it.
But they have to listen.
Okay, you can only ask nicely.
All right. That's Main Street Money with Joe Yakovich and Tracy Kelly, Saturday at 1 p.m. on Cruisin' 92.1 WVLT.
American proud, biggest colors on the world. American redneck, this is my blood. I was born in the woods, Jim Beam's whiskey team. I'm living the redneck American dream. Living the redneck American dream. I'm living the redneck American dream.
And welcome back. It's Main Street Money on Cruisin' 92.1 FM. Here with you every Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. I'm Tracy Kelly. With me is the man, the myth, the legend, Joe Yakovich. And the band that you just heard, you can find them online, goodmanfiskband.com.
Nice.
And they're blowing up in this area.
Yeah,
it's
baby.
a kind of
I
a
like it. I like
country
'em. I
slash
like 'em.
rock. I'm digging it. I like it. I think that's called Redneck Dream.
Something different.
You can't relate to us rednecks,
I can relate
Joe.
to that. I'm a
You didn't
country
grow
guy.
up country
I'm a country
like
western guy. Back
you
in
didn't
the
grow
day.
up country like the rest of us.
I'm a six shooter.
I pulled something off the internet that I thought was pretty cool. They interviewed 16 people who immigrated into the United States from other countries like India, Bangladesh, Russia, and they polled them on things that they could not believe about America until they moved here. And I know I gave you a very long list of quite a few of these things, but I thought it would be interesting to go through some of these. You think? Did you read through
I'm liking it. The first one was
Oh, this
fruits
one
and
kills me.
vegetables are more expensive than meat and poultry.
That kills me.
Is that crazy?
Kills me as I wouldn't call myself a vegetarian because I occasionally eat meat, but that's pretty much all I eat is fruit and vegetables. And when I have to pay $1.50 for an apple, that's ridiculous. We wonder why we're not healthy.
I know.
But I can buy a full cheeseburger for 99 cents. There's something wrong with that. Well, and that brings you to the next one, that generally speaking, the poor here are more obese than the rich.
That blows me away when I saw that.
Well, we know some very
I
thin
see
rich
it more
people.
and more and more, and I see even poor kids going to McDonald's being bigger and bigger. So there's something wrong with this picture here that I see.
Well, and some of the
every
rich
day.
are getting thinner and thinner. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying?
I don't see those happening.
Yes, you do.
I do.
Yes, you do. How about people not carrying cash?
Yeah, I carry.
You know what? I
cash.
don't really
always
carry
have a
too
few
much
bucks,
cash.
just in case. Just in case.
In
You
case
know.
of what?
What else you saw today? The importance of credit rating, credit score.
Yeah, well, gosh, we base everything on your credit score.
Right. I mean, that's a big one. That's a big one. Another thing I see on here is the history behind Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I don't know what they couldn't believe about that. Maybe the fact that it's not true.
But the one that really got my attention immediately,
You
and
don't even listen.
when
You
it
don't even
came to
listen
me,
to
I
me.
mean, when I saw this, I went, Tracy Kelly. I said it 3 times. Tracy Kelly, grinding
What,
the dance
Joe?
form. The dance form. It says grinding. I'm reading it right here.
Honestly-
The dance form. Are you telling me that nobody ever heard of that? Grinding the dance form.
No, that's not dancing, and it's atrocious.
That's dancing.
No, it's not dancing. Grinding is not. I know what it means,
Okay.
but I'm saying,
So
yeah.
are you telling me your generation don't grind and
No,
dancing?
I think they do, and that's not
Okay.
dancing. That's
Is that
like
what?
that's not dancing. That's like gyrating.
Oh, it's not dancing. I see. I'm bad. I don't.
No, it is.
I'm old school.
I
I'm
know
old
that you
school.
go to clubs and people do that, but I just
You don't think
that
it's dancing though?
I don't think it's acceptable dancing.
Okay.
Put it
All
that way. So so I am with these people from these other countries that they couldn't believe that stuff really happens.
I'll tell you something else that bothered me on this one that you said. It was incredible wastefulness.
Yeah, that's a big one.
It is amount of stuff that we throw away wasted every single day: food, electricity, water, paper. It's sad that we throw so much stuff away. I mean, I see and you see, some of the things that we do go to with all these foods
Mm-hmm.
that they can't give it to the poor, and they come up with some cockamamie
Right.
reason why they
Well,
can't.
And not just food, but look at all the paperware and things that we throw out. Everything is a single serve, single use. And I know I'm guilty with the coffee cups. It is wasteful, very wasteful. Here's one that I have a real problem with this, and this is why I love going to other countries, is the monotonous cities and cookie cutter
Yes.
homes. Every single house
Looks the same.
Looks the same.
It looks the same.
Your house looks like the same house over here. I go to Dallas, I see the same strip mall that I see in Marlton.
It's sad.
There's no creativity. I don't like that. I like when you have some creativeness to the house. How about here's something parents can get can get arrested for physically punishing their kids. Can't do that
Again,
here.
I don't want to go there. I don't even want to go
How
there.
about Black Friday and
I'll
the
tell you something
frenzy?
else. Treatment of the dogs. Americans love their dogs.
Oh yeah.
I mean, big time. I mean, they are dog lovers and spend billions of
Yeah.
dollars on pets that I cannot believe that the people spend for dogs.
Well, I actually wonder if, commercial dog food exists in other countries, or is it scraps? Like there's big money, and now there's gluten-free dog food and GMO dog food. It's just amazing.
How about this one? You have me to read. President's salary is comparable with one of the plastic surgeons of our world.
Well, that's interesting.
I mean, that's funny, isn't it?
It is, and on one hand, it is a little unbelievable, but on the other hand, when you see sometimes some of these presidents in other countries, it's a little bit corrupt, and the amount they make is maybe not gained in the right way. That's all I'm going to say.
Another one I want to share this with my children. Children are expected to leave home when they are 18.
Not yours.
When? Tell me when.
How about
Kick them out.
I
Come
know,
on.
right? How about this one? When family comes in from out of town, when relatives visit, they often stay in a hotel. God forbid, we stay with each other. Or parents have their babies sleeping in separate rooms almost from the day of birth.
I'll tell you something else that irks me. Some of the hospitals look nicer than 5-star hotels.
Well, I don't know about that, Joe. You've been to some 5-star hotels.
I've been some high, but let me tell you
Well,
something.
but you know what, though? This is not all bad because
Yeah.
some of the hospitals in other countries look like a bomb went off in it. So I would consider us blessed, and I don't think that that's a bad thing that the hospitals are nice.
It
But
really
the
is
budgets
sad.
of some of the hospitals, they're a little ridiculous.
Yeah, and why are the houses so large sometimes? I mean, think about it.
I don't know.
You see some of these monsters that no one
I mean,
No one
they're
even
beautiful.
lives in half the rooms. I mean, think about
They're
it. What's
beautiful,
happening?
but unless you're giving me a maid, there is no way. I don't even want to vacuum one room,
And they're
let alone
monster
10.
rooms. I'm talking monster houses, and it amazes me to this
Yeah.
day.
It's a lot
You
of
walk
work.
in and they live in 2 rooms, and the rest of the house
Well,
is
that's the
closed
truth
up.
too.
It
Most
is.
of us do live in 1 or 2 rooms. It's ridiculous.
It's-
And here's the one. Oh, I hate this. People don't walk anywhere.
Right.
It's by car. Have you ever seen somebody in a strip mall get in their car and literally drive like 4 stores down and repark?
Why am I the old school
lazy.
guy? When I get my car, I want to park as far away, other than if it's raining or snowing.
Because
Snowing,
God
I'm
forbid
okay.
anyone parks by your
Well,
car.
no, it's not only that.
Yes, it
I
is.
enjoy walking and getting a little exercise when I leave for the car to a restaurant or whatever. I'm always that
Mm-hmm.
way, unless it's a bad day. But I park out in the boonies if I can, purposely just to walk a little further. Just me. And
Yeah,
you sometimes do too.
I know.
Or-
Or millions of Americans don't have medical insurance.
Yeah, I see that. I don't like that. And then something else, we use the GPS a little too
Oh
much.
my gosh, yeah.
I mean, think about what we use. So it's
You're
a-
dependent on it.
a
Nobody
list of a
knows how to
kinda
get
cool- A lot
anywhere.
of things here are I never thought about to question, but you put a nice list together here and things that
Yeah.
you couldn't believe it about Americans until they moved here.
Real quick, this last one kills me too is public transportation here is not what it is in other countries.
Oh,
but
no.
that's another thing. Don't forget to come see us as we support Project Thanksgiving next week. We'll be live.
Oh,
You
well,
can see
fun.
Joe in the flesh. I mean, what's more
And you
exciting
too,
than that?
you too. You'll be
That's
with
not
me.
as
They'll see the
exciting
chance
as
to see
hanging
who
out
you
with
are.
you. That is not as exciting.
Yes, it would. It's definitely going to be exciting next week. Our time with you this weekend is running out. We enjoyed every Saturday with you together and hope you can join us again next Saturday. Don't forget, next Saturday in Pittman, Main Street Money, cruising 92.1 FM WVLT. Tracy, anything doing this weekend?
I don't know. It's been a busy couple weeks, so
Yeah.
the more rest I can get, the better. So that's not an exciting answer, but that's my weekend for
Hey,
you.
listen,
How about
get ready
you?
for the Thanksgiving holiday before you know it, and Christmas right around the corner.
Yep.
So we look forward to seeing or talking to all of you next week, next Saturday,
Absolutely.
the 23rd. What time we start? 10 o'clock?
No, I'll be starting at 1:00. You can go at 10:00.
Look forward to seeing you then.
Bye.
Bye.
Joe Yakovich and Tracy Kelly are registered representatives and financial advisors of Park Avenue Securities, LLC, Manasquan, New Jersey, New York, New York, and financial representatives of the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America. PAS is an indirect, wholly owned subsidiary of Guardian. JML Financial Group is not an affiliate or subsidiary of PAS or Guardian.